Kurdish People's leader Abdullah Öcalan's cousin Dilek Öcalan visited her uncle for the first time on İmralı Island. On her return, she said that Mr. Öcalan had told her that our talks are continuing with the state delegation. The latest talks are going well. The fact they are progressing in this way is positive. She interviewed with the news agency after visiting and she told over details of her visiting. Dilek Öcalan said there were many questions she had been unable to ask on account of the shortage of time and the excitement of seeing her uncle for the first time. Dilek Öcalan said she had asked her uncle about the photographs which had been released on social media. Öcalan had replied that they are not good photos and were not released by our side. Dilek said that I was seeing him for the first time, but he looked well. Öcalan's cousin said that while on previous visits she had been told that there had been a round table in the room. On this occasion there was a table that split the room into two. I gathered there used to be more chance of contact, but we were only able on this occasion to stand up and extend our hands in greeting. Dilek Öcalan said the Kurdish People's leader had sent greetings to everyone, in particular women and young people, and that he had wished success to women and young people in their organizational work. Last week, two photos of Kurdish leader Abdullah Öcalan were released at the social media. A few days ago, some more photos of Öcalan have been released. On these photos, Kurdish leader is seen with Peace and Democracy Party's deputies Pervin Buldan and Selahattin Demirtas. Kurdish leader Abdullah Öcalan on 15th of February 1999 was captured in Kenya by Turkish special agents acting in connection with CIA and Mossad. Since that day, Öcalan has been in İmralı prison.
Mustafa Karasu, a member of the PKK Executive Council, has spoken to ANF about the ongoing talks between the Kurdistan Workers' Party PKK and the Democratic Party of Kurdistan KDP. Karasu emphasized that they agreed with KDP in 4 principal points. Karasu reported that the PKK had come to an agreement with the KDP on subjects regarding the peace process in Turkey and national unity, more generally saying we expect that the KDP will not support but will criticize the ADP politics of diversion. Karasu said the following: "We wanted Kurds to come out of the process gaining in stress together with the Rojava revolution. In Rojava is the 20-year struggle of leader Apo as well as the efforts of our movement." Karasu said tension grew even larger after Barzani's statements regarding Rojava before his trip to Diyarbakir. However, since the meeting, this tension has dissipated. Karasu added that it is expected that particular power will attempt to block the revolutionary process now occurring over the globe, and that Rojava was the important pillar of the negotiation. In fact, the meetings between the PKK and the KDP were planned months ago. It was not only a meeting about the PYD. In this meeting, it was planned that there would be a general discussion over the situation in North and the South and relations between the KDP and the PKK more generally. But first, because of election in South and later because of the attempts at forming the National Congress, this meeting was delayed. Those are the 4 principal topics that Karasu emphasized. On the agenda were KDP-PKK relations, developments in Rojava, the democratic peace process that our leadership has initiated in North, and the situation in South Kurdistan and the National Congress. A definite agreement was reached around these 4 subjects. At the head of these agreements were a smoothing out of problems in Rojava, the search for a solution within a united national frameworks, and the adoption of a common position towards Geneva. An agreement emerged whereby both the PKK and the KDP will help in a framework to improve relations between different organizations in Rojava. The Rojava People's Assembly (MGRK) and the Syrian Kurdish National Council (SKNC) began talks on 17th of December has ended. MGRK members initially met Federal Kurdistan Region President Masoud Barzani, after which they met officials of the El Parti Yekti, El Wehda, Parti Azadi and Parti Beshveru, which are part of the SKNC. After the talks, Ilham Ahmed spoke to press and said that, in addition to the Samalka border crossing being open for aids and to meet the needs of the pupils, decision had been taken to respect all the Rojava martyrs and recognize what was owed to their families. Ilham Ahmed added that if the situation of the Kurds is not to be discussed, then the Kurds will boycott Geneva. Due to internal disagreements in the SKNC, the talks lasted nearly 1 week. The visit to Hawler of Syrian National Council President Ahmed al-Jarba was also seen as an attempt to prevent efforts to work unity. Prior to the meetings, the KJK gave full support of these meetings.
Syrian warplanes and helicopters have killed at least 15 people in Aleppo on Monday, raising the death toll to over 360 during the past 10 days of bombings, activists said. The Syrian opposition says it will not attend the Geneva II peace talks if the regime continues to launch air raids. The UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the airstrikes hit Aleppo's opposition-controlled Sukkari district on Tuesday, killing 8 civilians and injuring several others. Government forces also bombed the city's Marjeh neighborhood, which resulted in the deaths of 5 civilians, including 3 children. Several other areas of Syria's largest city were attacked as well. Although there have been no reports of casualties, Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said on its Facebook page. According to the group, Syrian helicopters dropped barrel bombs, oil drums or cylinders packed with explosives, nails and metal fragments during the air raids. The Aleppo Media Center, a separate activist group, put the death toll of Tuesday's attacks at 33, with 150 others wounded, AP reported. According to the organization, strikes carried out by jets and helicopters hit at least 3 sites, causing extensive damage, ruining apartment buildings and setting houses and cars ablaze. Volunteers from the Red Crescent brought in food to the Aleppo Central Prison. They took out 7 prisoners whose terms have finished. Syrian air forces attacked also many Kurdish areas in Aleppo and killed 8 civilians and many injured after 3 days' attack.
People's Defense Forces Media Center has made a statement regarding an attack by Islamic State of Iraq and Al-Shahan on the YPG checkpoints near Serikani known as Ras Al Ain, in which 6 attackers were killed and 8 others wounded. In the YPG statement, it is reported that armed groups belonging to ISIS, which is affiliated to Al-Qaeda, mounted an assault with heavy weaponry on YPG checkpoints in the village of Ghurbat al-Banat, 25 kilometers west of Serikani, on the evening of 23rd of December. As a result of the clashes, 6 attackers were killed and 8 wounded. The YPG reports that it has 4 of the corpses of the gang's members and that it has taken possession of a BKC machine guns, a RPG and 2 AK-47s. The YPG Media Center also reported that 2 YPG fighters had died in the clashes. Despite of provocation between Arab and Kurdish people, the coup built on fraternal relations between them. On the other side, in Til Hamis, 120 Arab young old men and women joined the YPG forces. Joan Mohammed, spokesman for the preparation of the draft self-management democracy, noted that their work is nearing completion and that they will begin to election during the period of 2 to 3 months, noting that they were seeking to hold a meeting of the Legislative Council in term before the new year. But due to the presence of some members in the meetings of Hawler, it will postpone the meetings for some time. Mohammed said that there are many people abroad and at home are fighting this project, but after the end of these preparations, there will be a high possibility to start the holding of elections within 2 to 3 months. Mohammed pointing out that the crisis in Syria does not know how much time will drag on, nothing that because of the existence of a vacuum in the administration, many of the problems of the people do not be resolved, stressing the need to build each region for self-management. For management that we seek is not there a place for chauvinism and authoritarian mentality, and we will follow a co-president pending on the basis of democracy and justice between all the components. With regard of the status of women in the region in particular, said Mohammed. Without doubt, the role of women has significant importance in democratic self-management and should be presented equitably and democratic management. Joan Mohammed, at the end of his speech, said that the preparation of draft democratic self-management will continue its work in every day in order to communicate committees. The Peace and Democracy Party BDP has announced its list of women candidates for mayor and deputy mayors at the local elections, which are scheduled to take place on 30th of March 2014. The BDP candidates for the mayoral election in the city of Ahmet is Gülten Kışanak. 32 of the 63 women candidates are for mayor and 31 for deputy mayors. Asay Center for Women is one of the centers set up for defense and security of Rojava Western Kurdistan cities and villages. In the last 6 months, there have been 136 problems reported to the center, and it's played a significant role in solving them in a very short time. From the beginning of the Rojava Revolution on, women actively attended the movement as security mechanism to defend both themselves and also the society. However, there is still need for having an Asay center specifically for women, and now we have a section in Kamishlo, say member of the center. Women above age of 18 can apply the center to be a member of the center and get a process of education and ideology, military and academic components.